But anyway, I will tell you that I am very pleased to have the opportunity to be MC here. I know occasionally I do get a little out of whack, but that's okay. It feels good, and I'm sure that you're all a little wacky too. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. But our next speaker, of course, I'm sure needs no introduction. He is our grand poobah here. He is the chief honcho, the buck stops here guy. He is the president of the Freedom Law School, and he is just an amazing person. Consider the background. All of us here are pretty much, we were born here. But not Peymon. Peymon's from Iran. Oh, wait a second. Aren't we all supposed to hate Iran right now? I don't think so. But I will tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that our next speaker here is setting a new high watermark, a new standard for other Americans. And maybe we all need to be shamed a little bit to have somebody from another country that's now being demonized by our government and having more knowledge about our founding documents, our Constitution, our founding fathers, our Bill of Rights, and the law than many of us would hope to have after years of research. And so it is my honor and my pleasure to bring to you Mr. Peymon Mottahedeh.
Thank you. Thank you for that introduction, Dave. I appreciate that. The topic, we can put that away. The topic of my speech, as you saw in the brochure of the conference that we put out today and tomorrow, is to share with you how you can live free of IRS's harassment and robbery with knowledge, preparation, and support now. So, the reason I said that is because I will not be able to give you all the answers today that I like to give you because of the limited time. So be sure to be here tomorrow because the more important stuff that we're going to lead to is going to be covered tomorrow by its nature. So I'm going to give you some of the basic stuff and tomorrow finish up my topic for you. Before I do that, I'm going to give you guys an overview of my talk. I'm going to talk about my background a little bit for you guys, talking about what the 1040 income tax filing is all about, talk about some common myths in the freedom movement that float around, and talking about some basic steps that you can take to be free as I promised you. But to give you a little idea of the big picture, the reason I got interested in all this stuff is because of my father. I grew up in Iran in a Jewish family, and my father was very much interested in politics, and whenever he got around talking to his friends, they would talk about the East-West conflict, the Arab-Israeli conflict, and Iranian politics. And I got to be around him, sit next to my father. We didn't have that many toys around back then. We had a chess, backgammon, and playing cards. That was it. We had no toys. So I got to hang around my dad and listen and learn. And I got interested in this stuff because I thought, wow, this is stuff that really matters. And I was active in sports. I didn't care to watch them because I want to be in them. I want to be involved in it rather than watching someone else do it. And in Iran, of course, we had no freedom of speech or assembly like we have today, or right to petition the government for the redress of our grievances. If you criticize the government, and the Shah of Iran was a puppet of the CIA who put him in power in 1953. By the way, it was a very well established thing, Operation Ajax. If you look it up on Google, it comes up. It was a very well known that the democratically elected government of Iran was put aside over oil, and instead they put Shah of Iran as a puppet dictator. And he had a secret service savak where, if you spoke against the government, they would put you in jail, torture you, summary trial, no trial executions. It was commonplace. So I knew, and my father told me, don't talk to your friends about these things that we talk about privately with close friends and family members. So when I came to America in 1977, at the age of 14, I was very happy to be the land of the free, the home of the brave, the John Wayne, be all you can be. You know, in the movies, you know, in the third world countries, America is advertised as pretty much, you know, the place to be. You can be free and all you want to be. You know, and of course the Constitution, you know, that has lasted 200 years and the government does not violate the Constitution, so I was told. Well, in my university classes, I learned about free enterprise system. In my economics classes, found out we don't have that. We have a socialist, fascist combination system. Then I became a citizen in 1989, American citizen, and I immediately joined the Libertarian Party as an activist and a voter to do my part in returning America to freedom, which I saw we were losing fast. And I thought all you got to do is just let people know they have a better alternative than Republican Democrats, and people will vote Libertarian. To my shock and surprise, not only people have, a lot of people have not heard of it, those that have oftentimes waste their votes on the lesser of the two evils. Oh, anybody but Clinton, anybody better than Clinton. Well, Bush proves you. All you guys that voted for Bush, and I know you're ashamed of it, don't raise your hand. You thought he was a good conservative probably in this audience, right? Found out that no can be. As bad as Clinton was, Bush 100 times worse than mass murderer. You know, at least Clinton just killed a bunch of his bodyguards and people who blew the whistle on him only. You know, Bush murdered tons of people all over the world. And if you want to know about Clinton, go watch the Clinton Chronicles on YouTube. So anyhow, it was a few years later after being involved in the Libertarian Party that I heard about an income tax issue, that it's voluntary, no law requires us to file and pay income tax. So I went to a seminar and I verified the key things that this person said that showed me that what this person was telling me was true or not. And I was absolutely stunned. By the way, folks, if you don't have your free information package that was given to you yesterday, raise your hand because they'll give it to you from the outside, because I'm going to go over this information package in my presentation. So put your hand up. Somebody in the back there, folks. Tell the front desk if they're not there, they're going to give this out to you. Guys, keep your hand up. They'll get one to you, the information package, because I'm going to talk about it, which includes our Freedom Catalog or Freedom Law School. So just keep your hand up. I was quite astounded, and I verified everything, the key things. For example, the 1040 instruction book that tells you that they will, if they want to share your information with counties, cities, states, and even foreign governments. At the same time, the Fifth Amendment of the Constitution guarantees your right not to give any information to the government that they could use against you. Well, there you go. If that's the case, if you don't have to give any information to the government that they may use against you, and everything under 1040 is something they use against you, then how come they give it to everybody in the world, and how come they use it against people in tax cases? Right? So I thought, wow. I knew in Iran and third world countries, people know the government lies to them. Politicians are a bunch of liars. They want to get elected. They want to be in position of power. So they lie. They claim it's for your own good. It's for your own security. Right? Just trust me. I'm a good guy. I'm government, of course. I wouldn't be here if I was a bad guy. Right? And a lot of people trust about politicians blindly. Blind loyalty, they call that. So, but I realized if the government lies about one thing, they're going to lie about something probably again, and something and something again. Just like people, right? They're no different, right? If you lie one time, why not do it again and again? So I thought, well, if people realize that the income tax fraud, because that affects every one of them, then they're going to wake up about the other frauds. So I started talking about it to other people. Well, I was surprised how many people were afraid of the IRS or the government in a free country, or were simply too brainwashed, dumb, stupid, or literally illiterate, or semi-illiterate. A lot of your friends that you talk about this stuff, part of the reason they're not interested is not just because they're scared. It's because they're semi-illiterate folks. That we have a high illiteracy rate in America where people beyond the job application cannot and do not read. Therefore, they're not able to analyze this information. Okay? I know my best friend who got out of high school couldn't do fill out a job application barely. So I thought, wow, we got a big problem here. But nonetheless, what am I going to do? Go back to Iran? You know, there have more freedom there. Well, I better camp my tent here. And I'm an American citizen. Now I'm going to do what I can to restore America to freedom. But at least in America, we have a right to free speech. We have a right to assemble like this and associate and discuss and expose government lies and corruption and do something about it. But the root of it is to wake up, right? So I thought as long as we got that. I started teaching classes on just a little part-time basis with a couple of my patriots on a local group in Orange County, California, to bring the other patriots in our area to our level of ignorance, because there was no internet back then. You had to go take live classes of people who came to seminars or buy books and videos and audio tapes. And those classes developed into the Freedom Law School in 1996. And the very first class I taught, which you heard me talk yesterday, some of you about, is called A Practical Road to Freedom from Oppressive Taxation and Control Level 1, which was a once-a-week class for 9 weeks for about 2.5 hours. And I taught people so many things they want to know and need to know. The stuff that you're thinking, I want to know about this, I want to know about that, it's in there. Peymon, do you have this in there? Yes, it's in there. You want that? It's in there. It's in there. Just like that spaghetti commercial. Heard that? It's in there. It's in there. Because I've did these classes over several years, and I perfected it to really what needs to be in there. And when I found out I was teaching a wrong thing, I stopped teaching it. I found something better. I put it in there. So it was a laboratory for me to get better and teach other people at the same time. And at the same time, I saw a lot of freedom groups out there grow like crazy, because people are looking for freedom. And they promised you how to get out of the government's jurisdiction, to be out of their system, to become sovereign, get your status back, or something of that nature, or type of thing. In fact, I started out myself with a group. I paid them $1,500 back in '92 to supposedly, they showed me how to cancel my adhesion contracts, in which my Social Security and 1040 application in the past, driver license, marriage licenses, our adhesion contracts are tied in the system. Then I paid another person $800 about 7 months later, and he said, I'll become a sovereign state citizen. And I remember asking this guy, his first name is Richard, I won't give his last name. I said, Richard, how do I know yours is right and his is wrong? I paid this guy $1,500. In fact, I paid him $2,000 on top of that, which I borrowed from my family. I have a $10,000 franchise fee, which I got to pay the other $8,000, so I can sell his package for 50% commission. How do I know yours is better? I want to know. And I knew that I was an A math student. And logic and math came naturally easy to me. I got weaknesses and strengths. That was my strength. I said, I can't figure it out. How do I know yours is better? His answer was, well, mine is right. His is wrong. All right? So I figured, well, I better get this thing, because unless I get his package, he won't let me even look at it. He has no money-back guarantee on this. None of these guys have a money-back guarantee on this stuff. You pay for it, you're stuck. If it's not good, you're stuck. None of these guys will let me look at it or have a money-back guarantee on this stuff. So I figured, well, I'm on my quest for freedom and truth. I got to get this thing to find out. So I did. I paid him $800, and I spent the next couple, 3 years, thousands, and all these kind of seminars. And I took seminars on the subjects many of you have taken seminars today. And I tell you, it made me more confused. I heard theories like, you got to sign things with a Uniform Commercial Code that's written on the UCC 1-207 to that way to be free. Of course, I was told by Richard I'm a sovereign state citizen. Now I'm not a U.S. citizen. Nope, not a 14th Amendment created U.S. citizen, sovereign state citizen. Then I heard things like they got a straw man created against you, redemption and expatriation and repatriation. Yellow fringe flag, somehow that represents military jurisdiction in a courtroom. I heard that you can't use zip code on your mail. Heard that you got to object to your name in all capital letters. That's a corporate debt, fictional entity they claim. I heard that the Article 3 courts are no longer in America constitutional. They're gone. They're administrative courts. You got to use care of in front of you or non-domestic in back of your address. And I paid a lot of money. I've taken everybody's seminars out there. And I was like, who's right? This guy says it's this theory. This guy says it's other theory. And this guy says another theory. Well, which one of them is right? Because it's one or the other. How do you get out of the jurisdiction? This way or that way? Or this way? Right? Well, fortunately, the guy that got me to citizenship, his name is Bill, he happened to know how to go to a law library and look things up. And he showed me. Oh, great. A law library. Whoa. That's for lawyers. Hey, show me. I went there and I found out, this is easy, man. This is easy. I just go, you look up the court case or whatever it is in plain language, English, read it, it tells you. So I was excited. And that's why in my classes that I did, one of the first things I did is I taught people how to look in a law library. So I eventually looked up these theories that these patriots told me about. And the citizenship one was the first one I did. I actually got the court cases that they cited in their legal briefs of these guys. They claim this court case says that, this court case says this paragraph, this one says this quote, and you put them together, they add up to the fact that you're a sovereign state citizen, for example. I went and looked them up and read the court cases, and I was floored. They were taking these court quotes out of context. When you read the whole court case, it was something different. It meant something different or the opposite. Worse yet, I went to look up, and a friend of mine who had a book. How many of you heard of the book Vultures in Eagle's Clothing? I got a few people who got that book. Yes, I looked up the page on jurisdiction with 6 different citations of legal authorities. Looked up 6. 3 of them had nothing to do with what it said. The other 3 said it in a different way that didn't make the point that the author was trying to make in the book. So it was a very empowering thing for me to go look up and read these things. And so one of the first things I want to tell you guys I recommend that you all do is do not believe anything that I say or the government or anybody else out there on the internet. The bottom line is people ask me this question all the time, today, yesterday, and on my conference calls. How do I know, Peymon, that you got the right answer and this guy doesn't and that guy doesn't? Because everybody says they got the right thing. How do I know yours is it? And I'm going to tell you flat out, you don't and you won't unless and until you acquire the basic skills to be able to read and analyze enough of the basics to tell what's right or wrong. And that's why this book, How to Use a Law Library, they tell us that we sell more of this book than anybody else in the country besides them. Okay? It's just a $15 little booklet. Okay? And in our level 1 basic course that we teach, one of the first things I do is I show people how to use a law library. Because unless and until you can do that, when I tell you that you respond to IRS this way, and this other guy telling you, oh, I got this bonding method. I did my UCC1. Or I just reclaim it for value. I rejected it for fraud, whatever. How did you know which one is right? You won't. And you're going to go from one thing to another to another. Then like somebody who came to me and says, Peymon, I've got liens, I got levies, blah, 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 blah. And I even got your course years ago. But guess what? He never went to law library and learned how to look things up. So unless you do that, folks, and I'm telling you, it's easy. You know, you won't get out of the situation you're in. And I'm telling you, if an immigrant like me, whose English is my second language, can do it, certainly for you, who English is your first language, you can do it. Don't you think? Yeah? So that's my first recommendation. That's why another reason why is I provide this course and all of our courses and material with a 3-month unconditional money-back guarantee. Because I was tired of people scamming me, selling me stuff that I can get my money back when I found it was wrong. And you don't want to be scammed by me or anybody else either. So by offering you that 90-day money-back guarantee, you have a chance to check it out. Or free rental, either way you want to look at it. Free rent. 3 months later, come back, give it back, get your money back on all of our course and material, especially this one, level 1. Then you know that you're not going to get scammed, because if you did, you can get on our conference calls, weekly conference call, and expose me as a fraud that I am. You didn't get my money back. It was garbage, right? And we don't have that. Why? Because we put out solid information. And that's the reason also why the Freedom Law School has been the turtle of the freedom movement. In other words, all these jackrabbit organizations who claim they can get you out of the system, out of the jurisdiction, win big. They claim making you sovereign, out of the system, and they crash and burn. The stuff didn't work. Whereas what we've been telling people is, look, there is no single thing to get rich. It takes intelligence, it takes hard work, it takes organization, it takes planning, it takes imagination. And there's no one quick thing to be healthy. There's no multi-level pill or drink you can take to be healthy. Quit eating junk food, smoking, drinking, right? Eat healthy foods, raw foods, lots of fruits and vegetables, exercise, right? The basic stuff. If people just do the basics, you'd be easily better healthy than 95% of people out there. But we don't do it, do we? We just want easy answers. So the reason why we're losing is because we want easy answers in life. And it's, folks, believe me, I do too. I want easy answers. And another thing is, we want to be free. Of course we do. We want to be easy and free. Who doesn't? It's a natural human desire. But I want to tell you, if you want to be free, if you want to be healthy, if you want to be wealthy, any of these things, you got to control the person you look in the mirror every day here. And you got to convince that person that you're going to have to pay a price, some kind of a price, to be healthy, wealthy, or free. So when it comes to freedom, you're going to have to take a little time to get educated, okay? And you probably have to pay somebody else to help you expedite your freedom. Now, for me, I love books. I wish I had more time to read books, because I'd rather someone else makes a mistake and he loves the right way, and I just figure out and read his experience and save me tons of money and time and waste and mistakes. So that's the way I like to do it, you know, and not by making the mistakes, but by learning it. So, and I want to tell you about all these patent methodologies I mentioned. They're listed briefly in my article on my website. You can on livefreenow.org. If you go to livefreenow.org, I have a lot of free information at Freedom Law School's website under our frequently asked questions. One of them, under wondering how to respond to IRS letters, mentions all the most common basic patent methodologies, and it links you to Larry Beecraft, the freedom lawyer out there who's very good, who couldn't make it this weekend, unfortunately. And he, in his website, gives you a lot more explanation of why and how these things don't work. So rather than telling you on the podium, I say, go read it. It's there. On my website, I have a little bit on it also, like about the citizenship issue. I have the article on it, which I wrote myself. But it takes time to do that. He's done the time to do the work already, so I'll refer you to his website, which is article links to it for that issue. Bottom line is this, folks. We got to understand what's going on. What's going on in America is, folks, we've been conquered as a people. Okay? That's very simple. You got to be realistic about the situation on the ground before you have a chance of succeeding. Bottom line is, the government is based upon none of these legal arguments. Government is based upon the power, the barrel of a gun, who's bigger and more powerful. That's it. No different Nazi Germany or Soviet Union or China. It's all about power. Look, if you really want to get down to it, America still belongs to the American Indians. They were here first, weren't they? The white man took it from them by force. No. It was a UCC that did it. It was a adhesion contract they had those Indians do. Can you imagine how silly that would sound to somebody when they told them that? But people still want to hang on to patriot mythologies. How about the black man? They went to Africa by force, put him on a ship, came here on chain and enslaved them, right? You know, no, they made him a 14th Amendment U.S. citizen. That's what they did. You know, so it's all based upon power. Now, they did not use the power. They used it against Indians and the blacks, or in America first. Now, they do it against everybody, and Chinese too back then, yes. Not all of us. The super rich treat the rest of us like a bunch of dumb sheep slave, which they call sheeple. Now, people choose to be sheeple, that's their free choice. They want to be slave, that's their free choice. I mean, slavery has benefits. You have security, don't have to think. Do what you're told, and get what you're going to get, and be happy. I'm content, okay. Slavery has its benefits. Freedom has its benefits too. You can do what you want to do, but it's got risks, right? So, a lot of people like that. But I know you and the audience don't. So if you want to be free, first you got to understand what the reality is, which is we've been conquered by power. Not by legal theories, but by power. So, but to win, we got to learn from the people who were successful. And you know who the winners who were successful at doing that? The founding fathers, weren't they? Yeah. Yes, they were successful. They had a successful revolution. And we're going to have to follow their footsteps. I'm going to talk about that subject tomorrow, on exactly how the founding fathers did that, which does apply to today. It does, and we can use. I'm just going to tell you a tip. How many of you seen the movie Patriot with Mel Gibson? Okay, who have not seen it? Who has not seen the movie Patriot? Okay, those of you who've seen it, everybody see it again. Okay, the concept, the framework of the mentality and attitude and approach can be applied to today, but I'll talk about that more tomorrow. But I want to talk about some things from Freedom Catalog, because there's two groups of you here today. One group of you is the people who've been in the freedom movement for a while and surrounded with patriot mythology one after another. How do I know yours is better? You know, I don't know. I got this thing. I paid $3,000 for this thing. You know, and you just try and make the other guy. You just don't like competition. You just want me to pay you rather than them. Folks, I know that's what some of you think, and you have a right to check anything, everybody out, including me. Don't believe me, okay? I'm just telling you, you're going to have to take the time to evaluate and make that decision. I'm not trying to put anybody down, okay? I was in your shoes back in 1992 to 1996. I was just as confused as you. Looking for the answers just like you from the audience. Looking at the expert, look at that guru. Ooh, I hope this guy really is good. I hope really he knows it. I hope in this class is going to tell me something that can really do it for me. I was in your shoes, okay? And what got me here is I really had a desire to know. I really wanted to know, and I found it. And you have to check it out for yourself. If you go to, but the other group of you is the people who are thinking, well, I'm not sure about this stuff. Maybe my husband just brought me here yesterday, and or today. I don't know. I've been these 1040 forms. I think I gotta continue following them to the rest of my life, because that seems to be the safe thing for me to do. You know, if I could think about becoming non-filing, I think I'm going to get in trouble. Well, the 2007 Freedom Catalog that you have in your packet, get it out now. The first thing I want to point out to you is on the back, you notice it doesn't have my picture, doesn't promote Peymon. It's educational, and we have Joe Bannister's picture and his story, which we start telling you, and that on We the People Foundation. Look, go educate yourself. Read, okay? Learn for yourself that income tax fraud is a fraud, like I'm telling you. And that leads you to inside of our catalog, and you see on page 4 and 5, where we talk about more about Joe Bannister's story, which you just heard, those of you in the live audience, and our $300,000 income tax reward. Let me tell you, the IRS has known about our $300,000 income tax reward since 1999. And they sent spies to spy on me all the time. My classes, conference calls, whatever, you know, they never ever tried to claim it. Never ever. Okay? And they actually told me, they looked at my website. officially. So they never found it. But the next thing, if you go to the next page, is page 6 and 7, I want you to know what's going on here is a different game. It's called The Art of War. The Art of War is written by a guy named Sun Tzu. How many heard about The Art of War by Sun Tzu? Oh, wow, smart crowd. This Chinese general a long time ago wrote the definitive book on how to win any kind of a strategy war. Today, business executives and political leaders use that as a blueprint to success, to beat your competition. Okay? Beat the enemy. It's not military, really, the book. It's psychological. And I'm going to tell you how I did that to you. You didn't even know about it. What the IRS does is this. The best way to win a war, Sun Tzu says, is not to battle them when they're weak, when you're strong. It's not to battle them at all. The best way to win any war is what? Convince your enemy that the safest, smartest thing for them to do is to give up to you voluntarily without a fight. No bullets wasted, no lives risked. Right? It's right here. Mess with their minds. If that's the ultimate victory, that's the highest, best form of victory. You can go on wars, but if you just surrender, that's the best way, right? So, that's what the IRS has done to the people in mass. About the legality of income tax and fraud, I'm not going to get into that. You can read about it for yourself. Just follow what Joe Barrister and We the People Foundation have done. You know, level 1 course and all that. It's all American Freedom to Fascism. You guys saw the movie. Check it out on the internet. Read, watch it. American Freedom to Fascism. Which, by the way, Quickie Con has some available, free copies at their table for donation basis. If you want to get that, it's available there. But you can watch it on YouTube for free. I'm going to talk about the psychological aspect, which is they convince you to surrender without a fight and give up all your rights and put the rope around your neck yourself and hand it over to the IRS. And then I'm talking about, yeah, maybe you might want to consider taking the rope off, or just don't put a new rope around your neck every year. How about that? The old one you put on, okay, forget about it. Just don't put new ones every year around your neck. And that 1040 is when you sign on that 1040 income tax confession form that you believe under oath you swear you have that much taxable income and therefore you owe that much income tax. You said it, you owe it. Right? If you read the signature line, it says, I declare on the penalty of perjury that everything on his return is true, correct, and complete. Right? Because now they can put you in jail for perjury, for fraud, tax evasion, for making a material misstatement on the 1040. All these things are felonies. 3 to 5 years of jail time for every single time you fill out the form. Yeah. So why do it? Why do it? Because you thought, that's the safest thing to do. That's what my CPS says. That's what the media says. That's what the government says. You know, everybody tells me I should do that. Well, I'll tell you what. This story will exemplify the problem. Back in 1999, when Joe Barrister came out, by the way, Joe Barrister is a Freedom Law School student. When he, some of you don't know this. We published his report at Freedom Law School for him, and he took the level 1 course of Freedom Law School and listened to it when he was an IRS CID agent. And that's how you learn how to use the law library, is here. Okay? And we put him at our first Freedom Conference. When he first came out public, he was at a conference like this in California back in 1999. So we started doing seminars across the country with Joe, and in LA, a lady came to me in her probably late 40s, a half hour late, looking for Joe Bannister. And she says, I need to get my husband out of jail for income taxes. And is Joe Bannister here? I said, well, he's around here someplace, but tell you what, tell me what's going on. I see if I can help you, and when he comes, he'll give you his opinion too. She said that, well, my husband and I are millionaires. We get big royalty checks, and he's in jail for tax evasion. We sign our 1040s religiously. We're told to do it. Our The accountant prepares it, we sign it, and give it in. That's it. And 1 year IRS after us for tax evasion. But both of us, we go to the IRS. Hey, we're not cheats. We pay the tax penalty, but don't put us in jail, you know. And if anybody's at fault, it's the accountant. He's the one that prepared it. We just sign on there whatever he filled out. Now, if you're just a minimum wage worker, someone makes, just a few dollars an hour, don't have any deductions or anything, okay, maybe fill out a 1040 is not a problem. But if you have some deductions and expenses, especially if you're a business owner, small business owner or independent contractor, I know because, it's very difficult to keep track of all those expenses, all those depreciation tables, and all the deductions that you think you're entitled to or not. And there are different ways of doing it, they say. It's just so confusing. And it's very difficult for you to sign something that you understand if you do it yourself. If someone else does it for you, CPA, guess what? You're going to go to jail, not him, for his mistakes. So the IRS said, no, lady, no, that does not work. You're going to go to jail, you and your husband. You signed a 1040 form. Wow, we didn't know that. How many people know that? They put the rope around their neck, gave it to the IRS. They pull on it. So they did. So all the assets are now, by the IRS, are seized. Liquid assets, bank accounts, and stock brokerage accounts. Eventually, they raise $100,000 and pay a lawyer, tax lawyer, to help defend them. And for $100,000, you know what he told them? My best advice to you is to plead guilty. Make a deal with the government. What? I paid $100,000 for that. Well, the fact is, you sign a 1040 form. They're going to blow it up, that signature line, in a big screen like that, and they do. I've seen it done against filers in tax trials in a federal district court. They blow it up to jury. See, look, he or she signed that form. It says under penalty of perjury, just the same as being in a court of law with a judge and a jury. And he lied. He made a misstatement on there. Right? So that's what they do. And so that's what they did. They pled guilty. He pled guilty to let her be out, and now she wants us to get him out of his deal. We can't. We're not magicians. Now, they come after you, as always, for 3 to 5 years in tax trials because they want to show that what you did was a consistent pattern, it was not an accident. So they came after this couple probably for 4 years, I'm going to guess. As a filer, they were looking at 20 years of jail sentence, 5 years for each count, times 4 years. That's 20 years. As a non-filer, right, they would be looking at 5 years maximum jail sentence. Larkin Rowe is a patriot you saw in American Freedom Fascism. He got convinced of 5 years of not filing a tax return. He got only 1 year and 3 months. That's it. As a filer for the same 5 years, he would have gone probably 5 or 6 years. Yeah, had he filed a 1040. He's already out. No time. But as a filer, you look at it a lot more. So they got you so good in a position of slavery with a rope around you that when someone says, you might want to step aside. I can't. You're freezing. It's like, when you're hitting your head against the wall every year, when does it will start feeling better? When you stop hitting your head against the wall every year. Did they force you to put your signature on the 1040 form? Nobody forced you. It was your own fear. And that they instilled that fear by brainwashing, by the psychology game. Okay? Now, people say, oh, but I heard non-filers go to jail. Well, the facts are, filers go to jail a lot more than non-filers. I'm not making it up, folks. That's the facts. Go to page 6 and 7 of our catalog. Okay? And you'll see this is IRS's own information. Okay? There's about 130 million tax returns filed by individuals every year, and about 70 million non-filers. That's the best estimate of non-filers we got. The IRS claims there was 63 million people about 11 years ago. So, if the number of non-filers is half of filers, so let's see what the numbers say. According to the IRS's table on page 7, the total criminal cases of all categories they put in jail roughly about 2,000 people per year, right? All categories, filer and non-filers combined. But on a table below, which by the way was on a different page of IRS's website, I put the piece of puzzle which were spread across for you in one place to see clearly for yourself. It shows that the number of non-filers that were sentenced was about 200 to 280. 1/8, 1/9. That's right. And of course, the non-filers got a lot less jail sentence than the filers, who got a lot more. I got a tax preparer who I got on his mailing list. So this guy was one of those enrolled agents. And I looked in his newsletter about horror stories of the IRS. And like 7 out of 8 stories that he had in his newsletters, every time, horror stories of people going to jail with the IRS, was filers. Consistently. And the filers got a lot more longer jail sentence. Okay? That's the fact. Now, I'll tell you something else. I read at Syracuse University, they keep numbers on IRS, on a track, and they say that they compare the numbers of the IRS prosecutions with that of the courts and the United States Attorney's Office, and they say the IRS's numbers are overblown. The number of non-filers, for example, 2 years ago they put in jail, was not about 270 or so, 280, 70, 80. It was only 81. That's right. The court say it's a lot less. Less than 100 people a year are put in jail for not filing, whereas the numbers of non-filers is estimated to be 70 million. That's the facts, folks. Now, if you go to page 8 and 9, you'll see in page 8 where the IRS says that they had 63 million non-filers, okay, back in 1991. And if you go to page 11 of a catalog, you'll see in the bottom left a U.S. Senator named Henry Belmont in big red print. Here's what he said. He said that in a recent conversation, this is 1969, this U.S. Senator said, in a 1969, in a recent conversation with an official of the IRS, I was amazed when he told me if the taxpayers of this country ever discover that the IRS operates on 90% bluff, the entire system will collapse. If you understood that it's a hell of a job to go after 300 million people, especially when you don't give them a piece of paper, okay, the bluff, if you call the bluff, they'll collapse. But you see, they fool us very well. So your job is to educate yourself, wake yourself up. And again, now, how do you do it? There's a lot more to it. The enemy is clever. Okay? The enemy is also bureaucratic. See, they got strengths, they got weaknesses. They got smart lawyers. They send out these letters to scare you. There are dumb computer-generated forms that the operator of the letters that sends it out never reads the letters, don't know what the letter says. You just push the button and the letters go out automatically. You didn't know that, did you? Many of you didn't know that. I had a guy from Ogden, Utah processing center that works at telling me that himself. I never know what they even send out. I just push the button. Okay? So tomorrow in my talk, I'm going to give you guys more of, okay, this is the matrix, folks. We're involved in the matrix. First, my job today was to show you that we are truly in the matrix. Now, and we don't get out of it by some patent methodology, okay? Joe Bannister and Jeff Dickstein and Tommy Cryer didn't do UCC or sovereign citizenship or straw man redemption or bonding, none of this stuff either, okay? That's why they're free. They did real law that really works. But to tell you more what's going to be, what you need to do, I'm going to talk about you tomorrow. So be with us tomorrow. I'm going to give you more of a detail. Now, what I want to do first is I want to tell you guys about our co-sponsor of this conference. How many of you are subscribers of American Free Press? Can I see a show of hands? Okay. All right. Can somebody get American Free Press from back there for me, please? A sample issue. American Free Press, folks, is the largest independent freedom paper in America. Thank you. In other, what I mean is that it's not owned by some big corporation, okay? That the same people that own the government, the politicians, own the major corporations in America and the media. It's not. It tells the truth as it is, unvarnished. When Joe Bannister beat the IRS, for example, They put his article that I wrote for them on the front page on the top. They reported real newsworthy news. Okay? If you are not a subscriber to that, you need to be. I'm not saying you want to be, you need to be. I need to be because I rely upon them to tell me what's going on out there without me having to look all over the place. Even though I'll look up a lot on the internet on my own on top of that too. I'm telling you, it's a one source. And you need to support them, folks, because if they're not around, you're going to be less off. For $59 a year, it's dirt cheap for your freedom, okay? The special for 45, and I'll tell you something. They believe in our conferences so much, they want this work to be done. They advertise this conferences for Freedom Law School, and they don't charge us a single dollar as a co-sponsor because they believe in the work that we're doing. So I want to invite you, if you haven't checked out the American Free Press table out there, do so. Take advantage, especially, and that doesn't cover the cost of subscription, by the way, just so you know. I know they don't. Just like this conference happened because some of our students donated extra money, thousands, to make it happen. Yes, right. If people spend, you know, they're leaving tomorrow at noon. You need to get to the American Free Press tonight or tomorrow morning. So be with them and support them because they're going to be around making it happen. So we got also one quick announcement. Could you come up, Alicia? Make an announcement, okay? All right. Okay, let's see. Can we put this one on for her? Yeah. Okay. There we go.
I can speak loud. Can everyone hear me?
Well, no, better have the mic just to be safe. Okay, go ahead.
Hello. My name is Alicia Merrick. I'm Peymon's sister-in-law, April's sister. And we were not going to be able to be here tomorrow either. My husband and I own a business called Global Estate Merchandisers Company, GEMCO for short, and it's something that we thought many of you might have interest in. We travel all over the country to acquire estates. Usually that includes valuable coins, real money, things that still have value. And we also have opportunities for people to invest in the business still. We often need a lot of capital to purchase large estates. My husband, for instance, is in Arizona this week purchasing an estate that's about $500,000, and we don't always have that sort of capital on hand. We have a lot of it tied up in inventory. We don't have a storefront. We are kind of local. I live in Lavon, for any of you who are in this area, and just wanted to give you an idea of some of the things that we have if you are interested in investing in gold or silver, things of that nature. We have an original 1871 proof set with the original box given by the mint in 1871. We have a quantity of PCGS proof 70 and MS 70 first strike $50 gold buffaloes. We have a certified 1871 CC $5 Liberty gold piece that was graded by NGC as AU 55. That coin itself is about a $20,000 coin. So we do have really high investment quality material. We also have just 90% coins that someone can invest $500 in just to get some real money back in your home to save as an investment. Gold and silver continue to rise at this time. And also, like I said, if you wanted to invest in the company itself, an example of an investment we just did was about $50,000 that we just handed them over broken gold jewelry. So it's a very nice transaction for people to receive and to have something of value. So I'm going to be at the back after the break if you have any questions. I don't have any products with me or anything, but there are a lot of great things to invest in. But I'll be in the back with some flyers and information if you would like any. Thank you very much. We do. It's not active with products right now. We have an eBay store, but you can contact us. The website is thegemco.com, THEGEMCO. Our email is thegemco@gmail.com, and that information is on the flyer that I have to hand out in back if you want to come by. Our inventory changes a lot. We try and go through it quickly so we don't have to hold on to it so we can procure more items. But if you need something, like if you wanted a huge investment, we have a lot of contacts. We could pool it together for you and help you in any way possible. And because we don't have a storefront, we buy from the public, and so we buy very cheaply, and we're able to sell very cheaply because of that. So it's basically wholesale prices for you guys. But yeah, and we're willing to work with people and take trade and stuff. Thank you.
Thank you, Alicia. And I'm going to bring you back your Master of Ceremonies, Dave Von Kleist, to introduce our next.